Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Welcome, my name is Aiden. I'm so happy that you're here. Today I have this crazy video. So these are all of the palettes that I wore last month. And yes, I wore a different palette every single day. These are all drugstore palettes. So I went through a lot of them. I never reached for my drugstore palettes, so that's why I was like, you know what? I had segregated them aside that I was going to do something with, and I've never done anything. So I set aside 2 months this year to wear nothing but drugstore eyeshadow palettes. Yes, I have that many that I have 2 months worth. And this does not include ColourPop. This is literally Revlon, Maybelline, E.L.F, Essence, those type of palettes. We got a lot of them. Let me know what your favorite drugstore eyeshadow palettes are. Let me know if you've tried any of these, what your thoughts are on them as we go. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm really hoping to increase my subscription numbers, trying to get to 2,500 by the end of the year. So fingers crossed we get there. I'm feeling like my makeup's looking worse than usual, and I don't know if it's the sun or if it's the products that I was using, because I used a new setting spray and a new primer. Well, a primer that I'm trying to decide if I like or not. Anyway, I'm going to go from my least favorite palette all the way up to my favorite palette and let you know all of the ones that I'm decluttering, because I'm going to get rid of some of these because there's just way too many of them. All right, I have them all organized. We're gonna go from 31 all the way to number 1, my favorite palette in this collection. I'm gonna tell you which ones I'm gonna declutter. I'm not gonna swatch every shade just because there's 31 palettes, and if I was swatching 31 palettes, that would be a little insane and just a little, we would be here for probably 2 or 3 hours. So I'm only gonna swatch my 4 fingers for each one to give you kind of an idea, and I never wore more than 4 shades at a time. All right, here we go. First up in 31st spot, this is from Revlon. This is the Romantic Nudes Eye, Cheeks, and Lips palette. So you do have like this weird blush, and then you have like 4 cream products, and then you have the 6 eyeshadow shades. I guess I could turn it right side up because there's no mirrors. This just had like no pigment whatsoever. It just looked muddy. It didn't look pretty. We're gonna do the blush because I even tried to use that and I just got nothing out of this one. So there you go. That's what they look like. So if you're interested, it's this shade, these 2 shades, and that shade. Can you even see that blush? Yeah, that's what I thought. It just has no pigment. It was not great quality whatsoever. Definitely wouldn't recommend. There's other ones in this line that are better, but this one was just an absolute no altogether. In 30th place, so second to the bottom, this is an Essence Eye and Face palette. So you have 2 like blushes and 4 eyeshadows. So once again, just not a lot of pigment. I thought there was going to be more to this palette, and there just wasn't enough to it. Look at that. That swatch is so pathetic. And even if I try to build it up, it doesn't do a lot. The one brown shade is pretty nice. There is a lot of fallout with the blush, and granted, maybe I went in a little hard with that, but there wasn't enough with that. So it is being decluttered as well because I don't get any pigment from it, and very disappointed in this. I hadn't had much experience with Essence in the past and just was not a fan of it. Another one I'm decluttering is from Profusion. This is the Mini Violets palette. It is only 4 shades. I was really excited about this one, but my goodness, there is so much fallout on this one. I'm going to swatch this one next to it because if I stop after everyone, we're going to be here forever. Can you just see how patchy those purples are? There's just not much pigment. Even if you like try to rub it in, it works a little better, but this like shimmer on the bottom I was really excited about. I had fallout all over my face. It was really, really terrible. So yeah, this Profusion Mini Violets Shadow Quad, it's being declared too. I got that one at Big Lots for like $1 or 50 cents. So it wasn't a very expensive palette because it was on clearance, but man, it was not one that I would recommend. I have a feeling we're going to clear out a lot of palettes with this one. So next up I have from Essence, this is the Air palette. They did 4 of these for the different elements, and this one is definitely the lightest of all of them. It is all very much pastels, very, very light shades. Unfortunately, this one just has no presence whatsoever, and it's all shimmers too, which is kind of odd, but they don't even make good toppers. They're more, I could wear them as highlighters. I feel like they would. They kind of remind me of the Kat Von D Alchemist palette, like the shades and the colors there. Can you see them? Like, you can barely see them. So unfortunately, this one is being decluttered, which makes me want to declutter all the rest of the elements because I like to have collections, and that's why I got the 4 of them together. My mom actually bought these for me because she saw them in the store and thought they were really cool. And she's a water sign and I'm a fire sign. And then it was like, well, we need the other 2 too. That's how things go. Then we have Maybelline, the City Kits Urban Lights Eye and Cheek palette. So you have some pretty shades in here. But once again, just not... They actually went on pretty. They were pretty shades. This one's a little chunky. But my big problem with these is they faded so quickly. So after a couple hours, my makeup just looked really terrible. These had more of a presence. I know it's a little hard to see, but they did have more of a presence. I liked the look when I finished, but unfortunately by the end of the day, they were just, it was like non-existent and just faded away completely. So unfortunately that one is being decluttered too, but it was pretty. They did a nice job on the colors. Next up is one of the E.L.F quads that I have. I bought several of these because I got on the hype train and then just never used them. This one is called Carnival Candy. This one is being decluttered because of the shades. I don't wear a lot of these shades. I did not like the look when I had these on. It has nothing to do with the quality though. It's just the shades. I hate the shades in here. I don't like those browns. They would be okay by themselves, or if one of them was a shimmer, but since there's that blue and that blue shimmer, just no. And I don't know why they call this Carnival Candy, because this does not scream carnival to me whatsoever. Then we have this one. This is the Revlon Color Change, and Gwen Stefani was the face of the campaign for this, which is why I bought it, and I almost wanted to keep it because of that. And then I thought, you know, it doesn't even have anything to do with her. It's not a Gwen Stefani palette. She just was the face of it. So we have these shades. I was trying to do like a green look with this. The mattes feel, they're a little rough, I guess is the best way to put it. They're okay. Like the pink has some presence to it. The purple is really patchy. The shimmers were okay. I just wish they were a little bit more because they just kind of blend away. I felt to nothing, and they just didn't blend very well with the mattes that are in here. So we are decluttering this one as well because it's just, I don't need to keep all of my palettes, and I have other palettes that I really love that I should keep out and use more instead of trying to like use up and try every palette that I have because I have bought too many over the years. Okay, next up we have another Essence palette. This looks so pretty. It is the Magical Forest, all about the Magical Forest. If you can see, like there's all of the little artwork on it. Such a cute palette. Has some really pretty shades in there. Just did not work as well as I was hoping it would. And I did the pink and purple, and I did not like how they looked. They just didn't perform very well, and they didn't last on the skin as much as I wanted them to. That kind of, the second shade is very pretty. I didn't actually get a chance to wear that one, but based on the performance, I'm letting this one go too because just can't keep it all. I shouldn't have bought any of these really. The more I'm looking at them, I'm like, there's a lot of red flags here. Then we have another Essence. This is All About Roses, and this is very pale. I kind of like the shades in here, especially like this matte type of a shade. I wanted a little bit more out of this one though. And I think the quality of this one is a little bit better than the Magic Forest one. It's just the shades are very similar. Like these two both come off as pretty matte in their looks, and even the shimmers aren't really shimmery, and I want some shimmers. So unfortunately, this one is going to be decluttered as well. And of course, I feel like hopefully the colors are coming by because it feels like it's getting darker. Rounding out the bottom 10, we have the City Mini Palette by Maybelline. This is the shade Downtown Sunrise. I actually wore this one quite a bit, and I really liked this one back in the day. And I don't know if I've just gotten better eyeshadow formulas since I got this one or what, but this one did not perform the way that I remembered it, and it did not last the way I remembered it. You're not even going to be able to see that first one that I swatched. Well, maybe you can. It's barely there. Yeah, just didn't have the lasting power. I think this one has degraded a little bit since I bought it originally and was wearing it back in the day, which is disappointing. Like, this was a color story and a palette that I enjoyed, and I don't know if my tastes have changed or if it's just a little not as good as it used to be, but it is being decluttered, which makes me a little sad. This one I should never have bought. I found this in Burlington for like, I want to say $3, which seems like a lot for E.L.F. back in the day, but I bought it because I was like, ooh, I haven't tried this, so I'm going to try it. I'm never going to wear these colors. I'm never going to, like, these are not colors that I gravitate towards. They're all mattes. This is the matte Jewel Pot. Mad about mattes Jewel Pop. There we go. All the words. So many words. And I tried to use, like, I don't even know what type of a look I was going for with this one, but honestly, this is not a me palette, and I felt like this was not great quality from E.L.F. They don't look as patchy on camera as they look. Okay, now they're looking more patchy, but yeah, they just, you had to, whoops. Well, now I muddied that one, sorry. Just not a great palette, and not colors that I would go for. I have a friend who was talking about how she can use bright colors and stuff for face paint and mix eyeshadows with medium for that. So I'm going to see if she can use this, and maybe all of these. Not that they're very bright. All right, in place 21, 21st place is this Soda Pop palette by Maybelline. I remember loving this color story, being very excited about it because I loved the Lemonade one, which is coming up. But this is not as good as the Lemonade one. We're going to declutter this one. I was disappointed in this one. The colors were a little bit more chunky and just, they weren't as exciting. They didn't perform as well as the Lemonade ones did. So the purple, which is my standout, has so much fallout. So do the mattes. That red though, that red, which is cherry cola, it actually swatches really well and does play well. And the purple kind of plays well, but it faded throughout the day. It was an okay palette, and since I have other ones that I like more, I'm going to get rid of that one because it just wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. And then this one is an obvious declutter because of the color story. This is the Water Palette by Essence. And yeah, I don't really reach for blue eyeshadows that much. And there's a lot of blue. I kind of made it work because I used the non-blues over here, but oh man, I was not feeling comfortable with this palette whatsoever. What other colors I guess I used that one. That silver has like no pickup at all. It does. You can get a little bit more, but yeah, they were okay formula. The formula is not terrible on this one. It's not the best formula, but it's the color scheme that really gets me because I really don't wear a lot of blues. So to have so many blues, I want to wear blue, but every time I do, I don't like the way I look. I don't feel comfortable. Even like today, I have some, like, what's going on with this? It looks unblended in the camera. Just not my favorite. It's being decluttered. I probably should consult my mom and see if she wants to keep it, but she never wears makeup, so what does it matter? Next up is one that I have a question on. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it. I probably will end up keeping it, but putting it in like my collector's bit of makeup. This is from Revlon and Wonder Woman 84, and the shades are just okay. They don't perform the best, but you know, it's Wonder Woman, it's really pretty, and I just feel like I should kind of keep it for that. But it's like the mattes are really rough, like they are scratchy rough. The shades, the shimmers work okay. It's nothing outstanding. It's nothing that made me go, oh, this is really good. I really like it. I didn't love the look on me, but I think because it is Wonder Woman 84, it's going to be saved, but not put in my like permanent makeup, like my rotation. It's going to go into the, oh, I just wiped it off. Why did I wipe it off? It's going to go in the makeup I'm saving category. Then we have this one from Essence. This is the Earth palette, and this is, had a hair on it for some reason. It's on the plastic, so it's fine. This is very browny tones, has a couple greens. I did try to wear the greens. They were just, it was an okay palette. I haven't decided on this one. This is another one that is on my question mark, like should I keep it, should I not? There's a lot of shimmers in these palettes. There's not like a lot of mattes going on. The only matte that they have is this matte white, and I'm not really sure why there's so many shimmers and no real mattes. Like, it's okay. It has some nice-ish colors to it, but it's not something that I absolutely love, that I'm like, oh, that's a eyeshadow palette that I really want to reach for. So I'm on the fence about this one as well. My favorite of the Essence elements is Fire, and this one is in whatever place we're at this point. I don't know. This one, for some reason, has mattes in it. I'm not really sure why. And these are more my shade range, I guess, is part of the reason why I like this one the best. But it also has some mattes. So we have like a matte yellow, we have a matte orange, we have some shimmers in here as well. So I felt like you can get a look, you can get a variety of looks, and they're going to have some pigment to them. The yellow is okay. I think I'm going to put this one as a question mark too. And I might just end up decluttering all 4 of the essences, see if somebody wants them together. Like, they're fine. They're just okay. I got a couple more that are just on my, should I keep them or not? This is another Revlon Eyes, Cheeks, and Lips palette, but this is in Berry and Love. This one, I really liked the look. I thought it was really soft and pretty. It lasted well. It went on pretty well, which I was a little surprised about because I wasn't sure how this would perform. But there's some nice shades in here. I just don't know how much use I will get out of this because it is a cooler tone purple palette, and I don't wear those shades a lot. It doesn't look like much right now on the swatches, but like I said, like this shimmer, that first one right here, just lasted all day and just had a really nice pretty sheen. The matte down here, you can't see it all, can you? So I don't know, it was nice. It wasn't my favorite palette of all time. Like, it does have some creams in it. You know what, I think we're going to declutter it. It's the best one so far, but I think I'm just thinking about my palette collection, and I don't know if I will ever reach for it again after this. Except I want to put these all in a 4 for 4 eventually. So, or 3 for 3. We might do some 3 for 3 since I've already given them one go. Then we have from CoverGirl, this is the Peach Punch palette, which was supposed to be kind of a dupe for the Too Faced Peach palette, which is why I bought it. Why did I buy it? Because I already had the peach palette. Because I jumped on the bandwagon with YouTube and wanted to have content that people would watch. Pretty much it. And this is okay. We got a chunky going on with that one. That first one did not swatch all that well. I think this one was on my like question mark. I think I'm going to declutter this one too, just because I would rather reach for my peach palette. I do love the peach palette, and I have a couple of the like the white peach and the peachy mattes, and I love those, so I'm going to reach for those over this one. We're over halfway there. Yay. We have one from BH Cosmetics. I did throw these in because they were drugstore, and I got these at Ulta and at Burlington when I found them. This is the Fairy Lights palette. It has some very pretty shades. This one was another one that was on my, I don't know if I want to keep it list or not. I was hoping for just a little bit more out of this one, you know, like these shades in here are okay. I don't love the blues. We're going to swatch one of the blues just because. And then of course that hot pink is kind of what everybody probably is drawn to the most. We're going to double swatch this shade here, this kind of mauvey shade. You know what? I think I'm going to keep this one. It is pretty. And I do like some of the colors in it. And the formula, I think the BH formula is very good. I think that they do a nice job. I just am going to avoid the blues in this palette when I try it again. But for now, it's surviving the cut, which, you know what? I'm going to put both of these. These are in my maybe pile. I'm going to put these in my declutter pile. And I am going to keep the Wonder Woman. I'm thinking about it as we're going. I'm going to keep Wonder Woman. It's going to go into my like special makeup though, if that makes sense. All right, we have one from Gigi Hadid and Maybelline. This came out, and I remember these coming out, and you know, I don't really follow the Hadids that much. I know who they are, obviously, but was not like a super fan of them or anything. And that's what the shades look like swatched. This is a good quality. I feel like either this is a better quality than the Downtown, or like I said, the Downtown has shifted a little bit. This is a good like work palette. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to try to, you know, this would be an everyday type of a go-to palette. So it is making the cut for right now, but we'll see if it stays in, how long it stays in my collection. This next one might be almost to the top 10, but it's still being decluttered because I don't really love the color story, but I think it's a good quality palette. This is the Pumpkin Pie palette, bite-sized palette from E.L.F. And it has some good shades in there. There's 2 shimmers, which I can appreciate because I like a mix of shimmer and mattes. I don't like just one or the other. So there's some nice colors, like they look really pretty swatched. They wore really well. I didn't love the colors. They weren't my favorite. They weren't something that I got really excited about, but I think somebody could definitely get use out of this one. So I'm going to pass that along so that somebody else can get use. And then just barely edging that one out because I like the color a little bit better. This is the Berry Bad Shadow. I got another one of these that I picked up at my grocery store because it was on clearance for 40 cents. And so I think that was a great deal. I'm going to give that to a friend probably. And that's what these ones look like. They're very pretty. I don't know how much I'm going to reach for this one. So I think I'm going to pass along this one too. And I will have 2 of them to pass along. One that's still sealed, and then this one. The quality is there on both of these. It's just, I don't know how much I will reach for them. And I'm trying to like, do they bring me joy? Like, is the packaging fabulous? Is it special in some way? No, they're just kind of average. They're nice, but they're just kind of average. This next one surprised me. This is the one that you could probably call me out on for not being drugstore. It's from Five Below. So this is the Colorstay Mermaid Makeup Collection. And I was like, I don't know about this one. I don't know what the quality is going to be like. This lasted all day. It actually looked kind of pretty. I did mix a little of the blue in with the pinks, which I think really helped me with my look. I forgot to take off the other swatches, so we're just gonna swatch down my arm. I did, there's 2 pinks there, just didn't do a very good job. The shades, like they're gonna stick. They have like a grip to them, these shimmers. Yes, it is an all shimmer palette, but I was really impressed with how they worked and how long they lasted, and they just looked nice. So it's where are we? Number 9. Made it into the top 10. Can you believe it? In 8th place, we have another E.L.F. palette. This is with their collaboration with Christian Siriano, and it is crazy. And I did keep this in because I got this because Christian Siriano. And it was so pretty and pink. And I think I got the makeup bag that went with it as well. This, I was a little trepidatious about. I wasn't sure what these colors were going to look like, how I was going to like the color story on my eyes. The mattes are okay. They're a little dry. I would like them just a little creamier. The shimmers are really pretty though, and I did enjoy the look that I got with it. I am keeping this one for sure. I don't know how much I will reach for it on a daily basis because, you know, this is not a daily basis color story, but I do like it, and the packaging is so cute, so I will be keeping it. This will, at the very least, will go in with my like makeup collection when I wear it somewhere. You might have seen this one peeking in the back for a while. This is the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible palette. This is the original one, not the like fancy one that they did. Fairly basic palette. Do I follow Carly Bible? No, I had no idea who she was. I was influenced by YouTube and everybody talking about the Carly Bible palette and how good it was and how cheap it was, and so I bought it, and I don't really have regrets. I've worn it quite a bit. Got a little chunk going on there. I think it's getting a little older. It's still performing well though. The shimmers were working great, and the mattes still like blend away really well. Not blend away, but blend together really well. So it's definitely a keep. Even if I do have powder fallout all over my legs, but yeah, that's what it looks like. So you have a nice mix of colors. I probably will never get around to using these two highlighters because they're just too dark for me, but it's a nice palette. It kind of like, some of these colors remind me of the Ofra Samantha March palette, just a little bit. This one was probably the one I was most excited to wear, and I saved it for my birthday because my birthday was the last day of the month. It is another BH. This is the Royal Affair palette. I think they put this out when Harry and Meghan got married. I did not buy it because of them, for sure. So here is what everything looks like. So there's some very different colors. You got a lot of muted tones, but then you have a couple pops in there. I feel like you have that pink pop, you have that green, you have that blue. I wore 3 shades for this. I wore this in my crease. You probably have seen it in a video, or you will be seeing it. And then I wore this throne in the inner corner. We're gonna swatch, like, let's do this one that's called High Tea, just to get kind of a range of the shades. There's a lot. I feel like the mattes are a little lackluster. At least that pink one is. That is a double swatch of that one. But the shimmers were so pretty. I kept looking at that greenish yellow as I was wearing it, and then I really liked the throne because it's almost a duochrome kind of white blue. And High Tea doesn't look that different on camera. It's a little bit more silvery in person, but it was a nice palette. I'm enjoying the colors so far for the most part. I feel like this is kind of a not overwhelming palette, but you can do a lot of different looks with it. Like, you can do a lot of work, but you can do some fun things too. So I think it's a nice palette, and I'm definitely keeping it. I've gone through so many makeup wipes. Then we have this one. This is the City Mini palette by Shayla. I don't know who Shayla is. No clue, to be honest. I wore this one. We were going out to a show. Ironically, the show, so we were going to go to Starlight Theater here in Kansas City, and they were doing 1776. I did not realize that they have changed 1776, and the tour was an all-female cast, which I was a little like, how? Because the score was written for men, because it's, you know, John Adams, Alexander Hamilton, Ben Franklin, you know, all our founding fathers. So I was trying to figure out how they're going to change that score to make it sound like the score, but for female voices. And they're playing the males. So I was like very confused about this. Did not realize that when I bought the tickets. But literally, as we were all in our seats, the gal is coming out to give the little pre-curtain speech. Lightning goes off. They go, we need everybody to temporarily shelter, because it's an outdoor theater. So we spent like 40-50 minutes under what they called the pergolas. They were not. They were just an overhang, you know, waiting. It was an electrifying performance because It literally was electrifying, and torrents of rain started coming down, and there was a lot of people in a crowded space, and I had to go get my mom's chair. Luckily, I got it before it started pouring. But yeah, we didn't get to see the show. It was the last night. They had to cancel the Friday night show because we were going on Sunday. And so I was like, I had my makeup all done. I was all cute for the theater and didn't get to see the show. Anyway, that was probably a story we didn't need to tell because of time and how long this video is. But it was interesting. So I still don't know how they've done 1776. The funny thing is my mom hit the souvenir stand before the show, and she bought like the book and the magnet and the poster. So we have, and the book is just like a Penguin classic. It's not anything like for the movie, for the musical itself. But we have the poster and the magnet, but we never saw the show. So I feel bad for the people who had their show canceled on Friday because there was like extreme heat, and for the safety of the performance and the audience, they canceled it, and they said exchange your tickets for Sunday. Sunday rained out, and they were like, there's high winds coming. We need everybody to leave as quickly as possible. And it was like 8:45 at that point, and the show was supposed to start at 8. So it was an interesting night. Anyway, here we go with those shades. I don't know why we must be getting a storm again, because it's getting dark outside and it's like 3 in the afternoon. So that's what the shades look like. They are very pretty. They lasted, they worked well. They made it through a rainstorm. Not that I was like out in the rain too much, just, you know, trying to get out of the theater, which was not covered. So we have that one. Okay, next up we have one from E.L.F. This is another bite size. This is the shade Cream and Sugar. This is the one that I'm keeping of them. So you have 2 shimmers and 2 mattes, and they have some nice colors to them. I could almost use like a mid-toned matte instead of that dark brown matte, or maybe instead of the light brown, you know, like this creamy color, just because I feel like I need one more crease color almost. But I did use this one as my crease and it worked. I just am not used to using a shimmer as a crease, but it's very pretty. I really like this shade right here. Can you even see? Yeah, you can kind of see. Anyway, that's what this one looks like. It's my favorite of them, so that's the reason why it's staying. Then we have, as promised, the Lemonade Craze palette by Maybelline. I was so excited when I saw this. I loved the colors. This one, like, you can tell I've used it, and it's looking a little scary. I probably dug into that strawberry lemonade just a little too much, but I like the yellow. I like this punchy shade. There's just some really nice shades in here. I wish this is one that I would swatch everything, because I just think it's really interesting and has some really nice shades to it. I really like the shimmers. Oh, look at that shimmer. That's what I want in a shimmer. I want it to catch the light and just glimmer, and that's how I feel prettiest when they're doing that. So yes, this is a good one. I don't think it's made anymore, but I'm so happy that I have it, and this is definitely staying in my collection. So it was sunny when I started, and it should have stayed sunny. I didn't film this yesterday because it was dark and dreary, and now I'm finding the light. Top 2, Sugar Rush by Flower Beauty. This is the only eyeshadow palette I have from Sugar Beauty. Is it called Shimmer and Shade Sugar Rush? And it does come with a brush. I did not use the brush. There is some fallout, and it transfers over. So much powder with that purple, with that pink, but there's some really pretty shades in here. I liked what I used, and I'm excited to try this one some more, even though I have to go in with a super light hand. I will say that it's not the easiest palette to get into because they're so narrow. It kind of reminds me of a Naked palette in that regard, although I feel like they're slightly more narrow, but the colors are so pretty. It lasted really well. I just liked how it looked and how everything turned out. So it is staying in my collection. And then the number one, I was not expecting this. This is from Revolution. This is the Fire palette. This came as a free gift. I put in a big Makeup Revolution order for a whole bunch of the Disney stuff, and this was a free gift over Black Friday. And yeah, there's some nice shades in here. I like how pigmented they are. I like how shimmery they are. Yeah, just some fun colors, some fun shifts of the light. They don't look like much straight on, but they do, as you can see, catch the light really well, and just, I really like that. Because if I'm looking in the mirror and I see it kind of glint, I'm like, oh, that's what I want. That makes me happy. I want that little bit of shimmer in my life. So out of 31 palettes, I am keeping 12. These are the 12 that I am keeping, and I am decluttering 19. Didn't want to drop any of them. So these are all of the ones that are being decluttered. Yeah, old glossy box. So that's pretty good. I was not expecting that when I went into it. I didn't really know what to expect because I've worn some of them before. Some of them were brand new. I had no idea what to expect. Some of the colors, stories I was a little nervous about, but there we go. We got the rain starting to come in. I hope that I have a couple more things I want to film, a couple clips. So anyway, let me know if you've tried any of these palettes, what your favorite palette of these are, and what drugstore palettes you recommend. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.